Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Ian Stowers, and today I'm going to show you how to tune a guitar. So before we start tuning the guitar, we need to learn the string names. So the string names are E, A, D, G, B, E. And a good and kind of fun way to remember this is Eddie, 8, Dynamite, good, bye, Eddie. There's a couple of ways to tune by ear, and the first one we're going to do is just by tuning across the strings. So if you just do this part of it, you'll get the guitar in tune with itself, but you're not going to necessarily know if you're in tune with everyone else. So what you need to know if you're going to be in tune with other people when you use this method is to start with a reference note. So you can use notes online. Like, it's just a YouTube video of the E note on a guitar. So you can use things like that to get the first note. Right? So I've matched that one. And so what I do now is I take my middle finger, and I put it on the 5th fret of the E string, the low E string, and I play that. And so what I'm actually playing now is an A, which if you remember Eddie, 8, Dynamite, E, A. So if I'm playing an A on the E string, that matches the note, the next note. So say I'm out of tune. That gives me a reference note for the next string. And so I keep doing this down the line, and I'll do it where it's nice because it works in the same place, except for one string, which I'll show you in a second. But for the A, it's the same. I'm actually playing a D in both strings. So I tune them till they match. Playing a G. Those sound pretty good. Now for this next one, if we do the same thing on the 5th fret of the G string up to the B string, it's not right. So what we want is we want to bring it down 1 fret to the 4th fret when we're on the G string trying to tune the B string. And this is the only exception to the rule. Right? And then so that's tuned. And same thing, you switch back to the 5th fret for the E string. Okay? So, and every now and then throughout you can play a chord to check in on how you're doing. So that sounds pretty good to me. Let's say I had a problem. You play the chord, something's not right. You can come back. And it's good to check in a couple times along the way, especially if you're new at it, because this all depends on you doing it right in the beginning. So that if you get a little bit off more and more each time for every string, you're going to get more and more off down the line. So it's really important that you take your time to get it done right. So that's pretty good, but not quite. Right? It's not quite there. And that's a lot better. So like the first method of tuning by ear, where we tuned across the strings using the common tones, the second method is similar, but it uses a technique called harmonics. So harmonics is a technique where you place your finger on the string, but you don't press down. So see the difference? I'm pressing here. I'm right above the fret at the string. So what I do is I hold it right here. I'm just touching it. I'm not pressing. I'm just touching it. And I pluck the string and I release it really quickly. And the harmonics work. I'm gonna do the whole line of strings here in a bar. I didn't press, I just touched. So that's the 5th fret, it works at the 7th fret. And it works at the 12th fret. What the harmonics do is, depending on where you are, for the strings, you can get common tones, and it's higher, and a lot of people think it's easier to hear where the pitches are in relation to each other. So for instance, on the 5th fret of the low E string, you get that, and then you do the 7th fret of the A string harmonic, it's the same note. And you can match those. Same concept for the next two. You can match those. Same for these. Now, the problem with this method is if I do that, just like the last thing, it's different. When I try to do, that doesn't match, but there is no harmonic to get these to match. So you got to go back to the old method and do the 4th fret to get that B string in tune. Or you could do the 7th fret of the high E and get the octave above it. So whichever works better for you there, and then you go back to the harmonics method for the last 2.